my name's Tessa and I'm a short course trainer at the National Institute of Circus Arts. So some of the classes that I usually teach are aerial preparation and aerial hoop. So I'm also an osteopath and therefore very excited to take you through some of these exercises to promote recovery and target specific running muscles to decrease muscle soreness and keep the range of motion in your joints and muscles. So you'll need a mat, a water bottle, foam roller and a ball, although don't stress if you don't have all of these things. You also have to make sure that you're in a working space that's safe, so 3 meters by 3 meters approximately. Make sure you're not too close to the telly or any windows. So let's get started.
Okay, so we've got a tight space for me to work in this week, but that's okay because you don't need much space when you're cooling down from a run. Make sure you've got your foam roller, your ball, and I'm going to be just running through a really nice cool down that you can do. It doesn't take long, and it will just help you get out there and yeah, get back to running sooner without feeling as sore and hopefully running a bit better because your muscles and joints are firing properly. So firstly, one of the main things that people forget to stretch when they have run is stretching out the hip flexors or the front of the hips. So, let me go back a bit so my head's not chopped off. There we go. Okay, so hip flexor stretch. Well, looks like it's going to be half chopped off anyway. 1 foot in front, 1 foot behind. Make sure ankle is underneath your knee is underneath your hip. Squeeze your bottom and you should get a stretch at the front of your hip. So I should be getting a stretch at the left side of my hip. If I want more of a stretch, I can reach up and over the top. I'll just push this back a little bit so then you can see. There we go. Okay. Up and over. You want to hold each one for roughly 30-ish seconds, but again, if you're tight for time and 30 seconds is going to put you off, just do less. Go to the other side, squeezing your bottom, reaching up and over. You should get a stretch down the front here. You want nice relaxed hips, so then when you take steps, you can take steps that are further when you stride, when you're running, because you're not super tight here. Okay, the next one to do is stretching out your hamstrings. So, 1 foot in front, keep your hips square and reaching forwards. Then you can flex and point your foot. You want to try and make sure your back is flat, not too arched, because it won't stretch your hamstrings as much. But again, you want to be able to take a big stride forward and be able to push effectively off, which uses your hamstrings. And the other side. Flexing and pointing. So I've kept it quite simple for today, just so then hopefully you remember. So whenever you go for a run, I know it's difficult to do a proper cool down, but it's really beneficial too. Myself included, I've got to try and push myself to do it. Next one, adductors. So either you could stand up and do, let's do this one. This one I quite like for adductors because they do actually get quite tight when you're running. Got to stabilize things. Drop one shoulder. And dropping the other shoulder. And if you can, go down to your elbows. That's it. And that one should get a nice stretch in your adductors. So we've done hip flexors, hamstrings, adductors, And now we're going to stretch out the calves. So, you can put your foot up like this, put your weight over your leg and push your knee over your toes. So that should stretch in here. Depending on how tight you are, it will stretch more or less. I don't have very flexible ankles, so this one stretches me quite a bit. But some people won't feel much of a stretch, which is okay. It's actually good. And then the other side. So foot up, leaning forward. So that stretches our soleus calf muscle, but now we want to stretch our gastrux calf muscles because we've got 2 layers of calf muscles. So this next one, straighten up your legs and push your heels into the ground. You might want to walk it out, or you can just hold it, up to you. Really trying to push the heel into the ground to keep your legs nice and straight at the end. Also stretches out your hamstrings as well. 2 for 1. Okay, so they're all the stretches that I'm going to do. Now we're going to move on to foam roller. So you can foam roll any muscles really, except one of the main ones that I like doing for running is our quads. Big ones at the front of your legs. They get tight from running, so you place it, I'll go this way. So you place it underneath, pop one or both legs on. I'm going to place 2 legs on. If you wanted to do one leg and cross your other leg over the top, that would make the stretch more intense, or the massage more intense. You're going to roll up and down, and then kind of hold it wherever is a little bit tender. So I'll just do one because my legs aren't too sore. And roll up and down. And then you want to try and roll on the outside of your leg, and then try roll on the inside of your leg and see how that feels, because often the outside or the inside might be more tight than the other. For me it's the outside, so just hold it there. And if you're doing both legs, then swap one leg, then swap over to the other side. Rolling up and down. There we go. Toe point, don't even notice you're doing it. You know you're a real aerialist when you do that. Or a tumbler actually. You've got to point your toes as well. So I'm rolling on the inside and on the outside. And seeing where's tightest and just holding in the gritty spots until it kind of settles down a bit. Okay, next one is rolling out your tibialis anterior, which are the muscles on the front of your leg, on kind of like the side of your shin. So these muscles get used when you lift your foot up, so often like when you're bushwalking or if you run a lot, then the front muscle here gets sore. Good to foam roll that out. So again, let's see if I can do it this way. You kind of roll on the outside of your leg and just roll down it. Some people it will feel fine, other people it will be a bit sore. But it's just a good one to do, especially if you get shin splints. Then this can help. And then the other side. You could use the ball as well, if you wanted. I'm kind of getting creative with how I get on top. I'm kind of sitting on top of it. But just as long as you're on that side bit of your shin, that's fine. The ball would be a bit more intense. Unless you've got a foam roller that has the little knobbly bits coming off, like the spiky foam roller. Oof, you're brave using that. Okay, next one, we're going to use the ball. So this is the final thing that we're going to use. This one is really good to do glutes. You want to do your glutes because you activate your glutes when you run. As you push off, your glutes activate. And for them to fire properly, you want them to loosen off a bit. So just stick it underneath your bottom and sit underneath your bottom. Oof. Find a tender spot. It's generally not too hard to find a tender spot on your bum. And hold it there. If you want, you can drop your knee down and pop it back up again to massage it. Not comfortable, but effective. And it's really good to do your TFL, which is a muscle just on your side there. So you roll all the way out to your side, kind of just below your hip bone, and sit on that. And that will help if you get any knee problems when you're running, like maybe your kneecap gets pulled to the side, or if you get any ITV problems, which is the band that runs on the side of your leg, then this will help relax it off. It's not, well, it doesn't tickle. Okay, and let's go onto our other side. So, anyway, on your bum, maybe you'll find more medial, so the inside of your bum is more sore. Maybe if you go further out, you find that that bit is a bit more tender. Just kind of roll around and see where needs it, and try and sink your weight in if you can. Okay, and now we go to our TFL muscles. So you find your hip bone and then go just below that bone, okay, and roll onto your side. Ooh. So you don't want to be rolling on your bone, you want to be rolling just below that bone, right on your side. And that muscle attaches to your ITB band, so iliotibial band, which then attaches down here at your knee. Try and relax into it if you can. Okay, and lastly, another thing that's often forgotten is our plantar fascia. So the muscles on the bottom of your foot, they act as a spring as you jump off and push off. So you really need to look after the bottom of your feet. It can cause things like plantar fasciitis and all sorts of tendon problems and things if you don't look after your feet. So pop the ball underneath the foot and roll. You can do it standing up if you want, but you'll just see my legs then, so I'm just going to sit down while I do it. Roll around, and you just kind of want to be on the soft part, like the muscly part of your foot, not on the bone. It doesn't really work if you roll out on bone. Bone doesn't go soft. Rolling around. This one's really great to lengthen up the backside of your legs as well. It loosens up the fascia. So if you struggle to sit in a straddle or sit cross-legged and things, you might want to roll out your feet. But it's one that's often missed and very important to do. And the other side. Rolling your feet out. Might be tender in a few spots, so you might want to just hold it if there's a tender spot. Especially if you haven't done it before. Might be super tight, or if you haven't done it in a while. Mine are tight. Cool. Okay, and there you have it. That's some handy cool down things to do after your run. That will just really help your body
be able to recover quicker, and be able to let you run for longer and possibly more efficiently. So I hope you enjoyed it and enjoy your next run.